the Ministry of General Affairs, I would like to remind the general public that I am in the process of receiving information pertaining to priority legislation that had been set forth in my agreement to form this interim government, so related to synchronizing the electoral ordinance with the ordinance on the financing of political parties, as well as that the government is moving forward with Budget 2020. I have actually received the latest draft on my desk yesterday evening, and also that we are moving forward with finalizing all requirements to be able to meet the requirements in a timely fashion to be able to not be blacklisted come May. So as such, our deadline is for March, and we are working straight ahead for that. From the Minister of Education, Culture, Youth and Sports, who is unable to be present today, I would like to announce that he had to deal with an emergency situation which he was alerted to quite early this morning at the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. School in Dutch Quarter. As you know, a couple of weeks ago, tarps, etc., new tarps had been placed, as the ones that had been there since 2017 were still in place, and there was actually more water inside the classrooms when it rained than outside, that students had to leave whenever it rained. And seeing the situation now, of course, where it's raining on a daily basis, even with new tarps, there has been mold detected, and there was a planned sit out this morning. The minister went to the site and learned that the VSI inspectors had been on the scene yesterday, as well as during the month of December. However, his office nor the Office of Public Education had received any report. So I just received this update, so I will be having discussions until he returns with the Minister of VSI to ensure that the reports are forwarded as soon as possible to the Minister of Education, Culture, Youth and Sports and the Division Public Education, so that proper solutions can be worked out. In the meantime, the Minister and his team has sat with the management and staff there and has been apprised of the situation. They are working on solutions, and he will be issuing a press statement later today to update as to what the status is. He has also planned, even prior to this emergency being lauded, visits to two other schools with a similar structure. That is the Leonard Connor School and the Ruby La Vega. He has already visited the Leonard Connor School this morning and will be visiting the Ruby La Vega as well before the end of the school day. So the minister is on it, and as per usual, we will remain transparent in the dealings that, you know, we have met and we are working hard to ameliorate. So between the Ministry of VSA, the Ministry of Education, Culture, Youth and Sport, and Finance, this situation will be dealt with post-haste. I wasn't able to receive in a short period any other updates, so I am sure that the Minister will issue any necessary press statements also from the Ministry of Finance if that is necessary.
GEBE has been faithfully serving the communities of St. Martin, powering your home and our economy. Come rain or shine, our qualified team of professionals are working hard 24 hours a day to provide you and your family with safe, reliable electricity and water. We use the latest technologies and test our products daily to maintain the highest international standards. Our friendly staff is always there to assist you, whether in person, over the phone, or online. We are committed to constantly improving our products and services, making them more efficient, effective, and environmentally friendly to serve you better today and our next generation of clients tomorrow. GEBE, powering a brighter future.
Our friend Megawati is here with tips to save you energy. 1. Turn your airco temperature up. 2. Use a ceiling fan instead. 3. Buy energy-saving products. Save some green with NVGEBE.
United Democrats, United Democrats, 1,161 votes. The UP Party, 3,231 votes. The U.S. Party, 1,762 votes. PFP, 1,407 votes. PPA, 326 votes. SMCP, 759 votes. National Alliance, 4,715 votes, with a total of 13,361. As such, after the total recount, the following 15 persons from the various political parties that would have contended in the election will be elected into Parliament. First, maybe it's better to indicate, based on the results, the allotments of the seats. The allotments of the seat will be as follows. After the recount, there was no change. After the recount, no change in the allotment of the seats, to be more specific. The United Democrats will obtain 1 seat in Parliament. The UP Party, 4 seats. The U.S. Party, 2 seats. The PFP, 2 seats. The PPA, 0 seats. The SMCP, 0 seats. And the National Alliance, 6 seats. The following individuals will then hold those seats. From the United Democrats, which is candidate number 1, Sarah A. Westcott-Bourne Williams. From the UP Party, it will be candidate number 4, Grisha S. Heiliger-Bourne Martin, followed by Rolando Bryson, followed by Omar E.C. Otley, and followed by Siddharth M. Bishlani. Those are the 4 persons that will be occupying the seats, the 4 seats of the United Democrats in the Parliament of St. Martin. For the U.S. Party, that will be Claudius A. Buncamper and Akeem E. Arundel. Those are the 2 elected persons from the U.S. Party that will be occupying the seat in the Parliament of St. Martin. From the PFP, those are Melissa D. Gums and Rayon Peterson from the PFP party that will be occupying the seats in the Parliament of St. Martin. And from the National Alliance, those persons are Egbert Shireni Duran, Silveria E. Jacobs, Christoph Emmanuel, William V. Marlin, Artwell M.R. Arian, and Rudolph E. Samuels will be occupying the 6 seats for the National Alliance in the Parliament of St. Martin. Ladies and gentlemen, as per Article 104, prior to going to that, first let me indicate that these are, once again, the results after the recount. And as the law prescribes, the Central Voting Bureau will have to establish those results. Looking to my right, my colleague, Mr. Baker, how do you vote, yes or no, in establishing the results?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's a yes for me.
Ms. Richardson?
It's a yes for me also.
Thank you. Ms. James?
It's a yes for me as well.
Ms. Marika?
Yes, also.
And for myself, it's also a yes. So it is so decided that the Central Voting Bureau has decided to unanimously establish the results of the election after the recount which took place on Tuesday. Our decision, of course, will be incorporated in a decree. As per Article 104 of the Election Ordinance, the Central Voting Bureau, the chairman of the Central Voting Bureau, has the obligation
Make use of WIB mobile banking with easy access and direct usage of face recognition, PIN code, or fingerprint. Download WIB mobile banking app and make your transaction from anywhere at any time. For more information, visit wib-bank.net/quick-login.
Yes, as I mentioned earlier, it is of great concern and high priority for myself and the Department of Romy. That's why I had the meeting yesterday to discuss the ways forward and what all is possible. As we know, a lot of it is homes that were built on succession land or homes from years before where they used to use the soak away. Right now, we don't allow soak away anymore. The soak away basically allows the water to soak through the tank and then run off through the hills. So a lot of that is issues, yes. To rebuild, of course, that would be one of the solutions. Another solution is also for government is when we look at the sewage connection plant as well, like in Dutch Quarter. That's one of the things that we're busy with, is to be able then to connect all the homes to the sewage plant, where therefore the septic tanks won't be an issue anymore. So that is the long-term plans that we have for the different districts as well. And in long-term, there's also plans for the Kobe area to also receive that same plan where everybody will be connected to the sewage plant. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister Waver. Dimitri Wheatfield of the Daily Herald, you have the floor.
Hi, so good morning to the Council of Ministers and to the people of St. Martin. My first question is to the Prime Minister, and it's a question regarding the airport. You said that there were some unfinalized conditions to so that 62.7 million, if I'm not mistaken, can be released. And you also issued a letter to Minister of Foreign Affairs, Raymond Knops, for the bridge loan to be postponed. What is the proposed date then to repay the bridge loan? How long has the loan been proposed? And what is the timeline to fulfill all the conditions?
Thank you, Dimitri. Actually, the bridge loan should have been repaid today, 15th of January. We'd asked for and received a postponement. It was due on the 15th of November or December, November, I believe, when we had just come in. It had actually been past due when we got in on the 19th. And requests had been put in by the former Prime Minister. At the time, the agreements, none of the agreements at all were signed. So we were given until January 15th to be able to do so. So in the meantime, the required agreements have been signed off on, but the concession undertaking with the bondholders, the remainder of the insurance proceeds will only be released once all the effectiveness and disbursement conditions for the World Bank Agreement, the World Bank On-Lending Agreement, the EIB Finance Contract, and the EIB On-Lending Facility have been fulfilled, including the disbursements conditions for liquidity support facility that is part of the World Bank Grant Agreement and the On-Lending Facility Agreement. The NRPB and the airport are currently working with the World Bank and the EIB to finalize the last conditions. including the final appointments to the airport's project team and the finalization of the project operations manual, as I mentioned. So these are things that need to happen. And they are working on it. So NRPB is St. Martin's representative, World Bank is international, and the EIB is also outside. So every single entity had its set of conditions. And the bondholders, we knew that they were withholding the insurance proceeds because they didn't trust who was signing the documents. Even after the documents are signed, they still expect, as bondholders, as people who have put capital into and are supposed to receive monthly payments, they are securing those payments. So they released the $5 million that had been agreed upon previous to us coming into government, and the rest would be released once all of the other issues, smaller conditions, were realized, which is outside of government's purview. It is at the airport, and what we had to do in terms of requesting for the screening documents, etc., for certain members of the, I believe it's the holding, for instance, all of the members, management, supervisory, as well as holding, all had to be screened. So the process has started, but of course it's not finalized. Mr. Mingo himself notified me last week. As I mentioned, we had given them a deadline of Friday. He had meetings in the Netherlands during the week, returned on Thursday, and, I only received the update yesterday via the NRPB. So I wasn't able to deal with this earlier because what has to happen at the level of the airport. So we have requested an extension, and based on so many entities being involved, we propose to have a discussion to set a realistic timeline as to when it should be due. As such, we do not have the liquidity to be able to pay it, to advance the payment for the airport either, based on our liquidity.
Hi, what's up, St. Martin? My name is Rene Leverett, and I play baseball. And I have represented St. Martin in numerous international tournaments and professionally around the world. Sports matters to me because it reveals and develops character. So I challenge the business community to step up for sports and help us rebuild and repair our facilities. I also ask the community to nominate local businesses in your area to take the challenge and step up for sports. Because hashtag sports matters, hashtag are you in?
How are you doing this morning? Good. So, Rebecca, thank you for coming. I work as a psychologist at the Mental Health Foundation. I mainly see children and adolescents, but I also see adults. So whenever there's a crowd, that's when you're starting to feel
nervous.
Okay.
Nauseous.
Okay. It is kind of like your body. We are so used to taking care of our body. If we have a little ache in our foot, we know to rest it. We know, okay, I might have walked too much, so I need to rest. Now, of course, that can be just an ache in my foot, but I can also break my leg. Now, for breaking my leg, I would have to go to the doctor. So that kind of goes the same for mental health illnesses. So you can come in for something little as, I'm really stressed out lately. What would you need? A little bit of rest. But someone can also come in with way more difficulties. We're not here to judge right or wrong, good or bad. Is it helpful for you? Fine. Is it not helpful for you? Okay, then let's see what we can do about it. But not a wrong nor right, absolutely not. It's a magnifying glass without judgment.
Well, there's still a lot of stigma on the island, unfortunately. It's not a topic that people easily talk about, and that's a shame. They're afraid that they get judged, and there is still quite a bit of judgment. I mean, often we hear, yeah, don't go to that crazy house. Once you go in, you never go back. And it's just not true, you know? We treat a lot of patients here, and a lot of them, we get back on their feet.
Our goal at the Mental Health Foundation is for us to help you improve your life, for you to live a better, happier, and fuller life.
In my last press briefing, Mr. Brown asked about the unemployment amount. And the answer was back then that we still have to check the different graphs and the different data that was obtained, that I was looking through it to see how the setup was in order to provide a figure. So far, I think I make it public as well, that the unemployment based on the labor survey was showing that it was 6,636. But after looking at more data and more sources, I am of the opinion that this amount is higher than what we are having right now. But in order to provide an answer to Mr. Brown, the amount now that we have registered will be 6,636 unemployed. It will be divided in different categories. Basically, that we have construction, we have nurses, we have sales representative. So it differs from category to category, which was published as well in the newspaper. So far, we also did the housing repair campaign. We start up with that project, which we went into district. It was held from the 4th of January up to the 9th. And we was basically targeting unemployment inside of each particular district and surrounding district. We kept a 4-day session in the night, which was held from 7 to 9 p.m. And we got a high interest and a high attendance rate at the housing program that was kept basically by VSA itself. The intention of the project, as was mentioned before, is not only to target the unemployed construction workers that we do not have on data, but also to target directly the people that are living inside of each district that are in need of home repair. So we got a lot of elderly. It was very interesting because we got a lot of elderly that came to those projects, the meetings that were held in the night, and they were expressing their concerns when it comes to why it is taking so long that the NRPB, because some of them are placed on the list already from NRPB, and they had a lot of questions asking why it is taking so long for them as an elderly to be helped, knowing that they are in that specific situation. So we have an interaction. We got an interaction. We take the different concerns. And also we had a meeting with Ms. Clarette Connor. And we was also expressing different things, like questions that were posed to us in order for us to get answers, to get back to these people with some concrete and accurate answers as to their questions that they were asking in the different sessions. But to make a long story short, there is still a lot of families out there that are in need. Some of them are not on the list of NRPB. So we are basically going to do the assessment right now. We are closing off this project this Friday, the 17th. It's being closed. And then after that, we will start with the assessment stage. And in the assessment phase, we're going to have our technicals go to the different houses. And there we're going to start off with the process in the home repairs. Now, the budget that will be used is the budget that is there for community services, and that's what we're going to basically spread up the different cases by using the funds, so we don't have to wait on the NRPB process to finish. We're going to use the funds that are there to still try to alleviate those houses that are in need, whilst NRPB is still taking their or doing their process that needs to finish.